Hey, I'm some nobody, and I want to talk about my all-time favorite video game protagonist, the Dragon of Dojima, the fourth chairman of the Tojo clan. He is a licensed taxi driver. He is a professional voice actor, and he is a fishing enthusiast. I'm talking Kiryu Kazuma today. I love this guy as a protagonist so much that when I play other games, I find myself thinking, oh, Kiryu would have done that better. Kiryu would have sold this already. Kiryu would have delivered the pizza on time.
I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
I'm gonna gush about this guy for a bit, so I'm gonna put out two quick disclaimers before I do. Now, disclaimer number one, I'm gonna try and keep most allusions to the series vague. I'm gonna avoid explaining any context for some of my examples, but there will still be some very minor spoilers for the series. My second disclaimer, the Yakuza series is on almost every platform. Every single game is a banger. If you have not played the Yakuza series yet, now listen, there are some creeps out there that would want you to believe, oh, Kiryu is a boring character. Majima Akiyama and Tanemura are so much better. Listen, I love Majima. I love Akiyama. But Kiryu is my fucking guy. And what makes Kiryu my fucking guy is how effective he is as a static protagonist. So quick refresher on freshman year English. The difference between a static and a dynamic character is that the dynamic character is changed by their experiences. They evolve to fit the world around them. More often than not, they're the hero of the story. A static character is the same from beginning to end. The world around them changes, people around them change, but they stay anchored in place. This usually fits villains better than heroes. Kiryu may be a criminal, but he's no villain. He's got a code of honor. He's got a sense of justice. Who Kiryu is as a person is perfectly summed up by the tattoo on his back. See, in Japanese culture, dragons are protectors of mankind that bring people strength in their time of need. Appropriately, Kiryu can't just stand by and do nothing when people need help. It's just not who he is. That's why sub-stories exist. Random people just run up to Kiryu and ask him for help with all kinds of nonsense, and he agrees to help. I mean, look at this. Would you agree to this? Show of hands, who would agree to this? Right. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, so what, you nobody? He's a nice guy. What does it matter? First of all, don't fucking talk to me like that. Second, he is not just a nice guy. Kiryu's got ideals and the strength to back them up. He is an unstoppable force of good to combat the evils in the world. No matter how outnumbered he is, Kiryu has never been the underdog in a fight. Kiryu's confidence as a straight-up good guy is honestly just refreshing to me.
一発だ。一発で倒してやる。
So now that I've gone over Kiryu's character a bit, we can get back to the idea of him being a static protagonist. The only real difference between Kiryu in Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 6 is that he's older in 6, so he's a little less impulsive. He'll still jump at the chance to beat the hell out of his closest ally if it means doing the right thing. And he won't hesitate to dart a baseball bat at a guy's forehead. But he is more respectful of art. Kamurocho may change, the Yakuza may change, but Kiryu never changes. What do you think that suit smells like now? Well, funny enough, Kiryu does change. Other people, that is. See, in the Yakuza series, the shirtless fistfights aren't just about throwing hands. When Kiryu goes up against somebody who is a real deal like he is, these fights become a clashing of ideologies. Two men bearing their souls in combat, throwing everything that they stand for at each other. If you're fighting Kiryu, you're not just fighting some guy who's really tough. You're fighting his ideals, his principles. You're essentially debating him with your fists. And at the end of the day, if your argument is, I have a 401k so I should be allowed to kill people, it doesn't matter how well you can debate, the guy who is right is going to win. If you can't fight for what you believe in, is it truly worth believing in? People change after fighting Kiryu. The strength of his beliefs makes him question what they stand for. My favorite example of this is definitely Somaya from Yakuza 6. The first time you fight Somaya, tattoos are cringe, ideals are cringe, the only thing that matters to a Yakuza is making money. The last time you fight Somaya, Kiryu, I must strike you down. I will do whatever it takes to protect the people I love. The hands down most popular character in the entire series is an example of this phenomenon, Majima Goro. In Yakuza 1, Majima has already fully embraced his mad dog persona. He's living without restrictions, doing whatever he wants without caring about the consequences. Majima puts it best, if nobody else cares about what's right and what's wrong, why shouldn't he just have fun, go crazy, go stupid even? Hell, at that point, the only thing he's got left to live for is the idea that a certain somebody important to him will show up and beat him to death one day. But then he fights Kiryu, twice in the original game, and a lot more than twice in the remake. A guy who cares about what's right and wrong, and has the strength to fight what's wrong. A guy whose sheer existence goes against the way Majima had been living his life for about 17 years at that point. I would go as far to say Kiryu restored Majima's will to live, but to do that, I'd have to explain Majima's entire backstory and how he lost his will to live to begin with, and that's huge spoiler, so I'll just say. In a way, I think a lot of Kiryu's appeal is similar to Superman's appeal. Personally, I enjoy seeing the strongest, toughest guy around be a good guy. When you turn on the news, any news station, all you see are assholes. It's assholes talking about assholes. You watch the news for about half an hour and they'll have you convinced that good people don't exist in the world. But I play a game about a hardened criminal, and what do I come across? A guy who stands up for people who can't stand up for themselves. A guy who stands up to people who would hope to abuse their power. A guy who will jump through hoops just to help a complete stranger. A guy who accepts people that nobody else will. Yeah, sure, I can't no damage run a fight against 500 guys at once, but I can do all these other things that Kiryu does. And you know what? If that's what a dragon does, then I think we should all be more like a dragon. Ishin.